Senator John McCain having selected Governor Palin as his running mate in what we then suspected and have since learned was a desperate last-ditch effort to appeal to independent voters and centrist Democrats last year. Our fourth story in the countdown, what did not work for the Republican nominee then does not appear to be working for the soon-to-be former governor of Alaska now. Whatever people thought of Sarah Palin before she announced she would be leaving office a little more than halfway through her term as governor of Alaska, it seems that they feel exactly the same way now, only more so. 7 in 10 of those voters surveyed by Gallup for USA Today saying their opinion of the governor has not changed. Independent voters not only saying, though, that they would be less likely to vote for her, 51% to 44%, but now 55% of them hoping that Governor Palin leaves the national stage altogether. 70% of Democrats, not surprisingly, saying they are not at all likely to vote for Governor Palin in 2012, almost matching the number of Republicans saying that they would be likely to vote for her for president. GOP candidates not exactly clamoring to have the soon-to-be former governor join them on the campaign trail. A spokesperson for Chris Christie, the Republican running to try to unseat Governor Corzine of New Jersey, saying that the Christie campaign has no plans to bring Palin in. What appears to be Governor Palin's main activity this Wednesday, even with 2 full weeks left in office, posting to her Twitter page. Twitter rhymes with quitter. Some highlights, quote, "Today try this. Act in accordance to your conscience. Risk by pursuing larger vision in opposition to popular, powerful pressure. Unknown." Why attribute to unknown when you can cite from someone who appears to be either the former Republican senator from Virginia, George Allen, otherwise known as Mr. Macaca, or his father, the Washington Redskins football coach of great fame? Quote, "Couple of thoughts for the day on beautiful, bright AK morn. You have to sacrifice to win. That's my philosophy in 6 words. George Allen." Ampersand. From an inexplicable ampersand, let's turn to the always illuminating Howard Fineman, MSNBC political analyst and senior Washington correspondent for Newsweek magazine. Good evening, Howard.
Don't forget the ampersand.
Well, please. I guess it's the Twitter equivalent of also as a complete sentence. The governor's quitting. Did this just solidify whatever it was individual voters of any of the political stripes were already thinking and feeling about her?
Well, Keith, I studied that Gallup poll very carefully. I don't think it's so much the fact that she quit as the fact that she was so much in the news. I mean, only Sarah Palin could break through the Michael Jackson story. And I think when people got another chance to look at her, it was like quick-drying cement. The Democrats solidified 4-1 against her. I mean, they view her as the unperson, unqualified, unintelligent, unintelligible, unthinkable. Independents kind of view her as squirrely at best. And for a lot of Republican conservatives, she is Saint Sarah of Wasilla. She is the person who's being burned at the stake by the evil national media. That gets her a long way with the base of the Republican Party.
You can never, you can never put the last nail in, as the old sick joke goes, and you can never light the fire yourself if you're standing in the middle of the pyre. But
that's true.
Is this not kind of a distillation right now of the same problem that she brought with her to that ticket last year? That as much as she may have excited the people who were probably already going to vote for her side of it, the result in the other direction was just as intense, and thus you lose independents and centrists and people who just naturally shy away from polarization.
Well, what really happened there is that John McCain undercut his own argument. I mean, it was about Sarah Palin, but when talking about the campaign, Keith, it was really more about John McCain. John McCain's calling card to independents and centrists was, "I'm the guy with more experience and better judgment." And, of course, after the sort of lost weekend in St. Paul with Sarah Palin, the next 2 months were the long political hangover. And John McCain's judgment was undermined by Sarah Palin's demonstrable lack of qualifications and preparedness to be a heartbeat away from the presidency. And so in that sense, she destroyed the ticket she was picked to save.
With the number that was in that poll about GOP support for her for the presidency in 2012, are we seeing, in swimming and diving, scores are based on degree of difficulty? This particular dive gets you a factor of 6, and this dive gives you a factor of 12 or whatever the numbers are. Did somebody tell the Republicans that each vote gets counted on a degree of difficulty basis, that if you really, really, really like your candidate, it counts twice?
Well, the thing is, in talking to Republicans here in Washington, around the country, Keith, political consultants, people like Craig Shirley and Diana Bannister, who I've known for a long time, very experienced people here, they say, look, Sarah Palin just can't win the presidency. I mean, yes, she is popular within a certain group, and to pursue your analogy about diving difficulty, I mean, she is taking a nice swan dive, an easy swan dive into the pool of Republican conservatives, but she just can't make the sail beyond it. Now, she's going to try. Apparently, she's going to go around the country. She's going to write her book. She's going to give speeches. She's going to see what she's got to give out there. But, geez, the numbers that you see in the Gallup poll and everything that Republicans I talk to say, nobody thinks she can, even on this wild stretch of the imagination she could win the nomination, that she could win the presidency. That's what they think, not what I think.
So her higher calling was tweeting? Is that the final conclusion here? Is that a full-time job?
I don't know. Well, it's difficult to do in hip waders, evidently.
Well, if you use your hips, it is. If you use your fingers, they're still free, aren't they? Howard Fineman of Newsweek and MSNBC, I'll spare you the no comment. Howard says no comment on that. Thank you, Howard.